I think Marcus Freeman's staff was put together very intentionally. And it's, the offensive coordinator aspect of it. I think if Marcus Freeman was hired at Notre Dame and had no clue who Tommy Rees was, maybe he would have looked to want to bring in his own offensive coordinator, but they hadn't worked together for the last year. Everything I've been told is there is a great amount of respect between the two. So it makes sense that he would want to do that. And of course, you still have someone on staff who understands Notre Dame really better than anybody else you're going to have because he was a player here and he's been a part of the coaching staff for really since the 2017 season when he first took over as the quarterback's coach, and then of course the last 2 years in his role as offensive coordinator. So I think that was obviously intentional. Then you talk about the hiring of Al Golden, which I thought was just a real said a lot about Marcus Freeman as a coach, that he's going to hire someone who's much older than he is in his 50s. I'm sure Coach Golden wouldn't appreciate me saying that he's much older than Coach Freeman, but he's someone who has a lot of experience, someone who's been a head coach at a big time institution at the University of Miami, someone who came from the NFL, someone who's going to have a big reputation, who's going to have a lot of strong ideas, who's going to have a lot of strong opinions on the side of the ball that Coach Freeman made his living. There aren't a lot of coaches that I can think of at a young age who would have the confidence in themselves to say, I'm going to bring in that type of person. So I think that was big. I think bringing in Al Washington, someone that Marcus Freeman knows, he's coached with, who's also talented, wants to be a head coach, was interviewing for SEC D coordinator jobs a year ago, bringing in Harry Heastan and all that he stands for and his experience, bringing in Dylan McCullough, another veteran coach who's going to have a lot of strong opinions on things. It shows me that, and then of course bringing in Jared Parker, someone he trusts, someone he's known, someone he's worked with for several years, someone that I would assume that he's friends with off the field as well. And then of course the one unknown was Chancey Stuckey, Brian Mason, the special teams coordinator, also someone Marcus Freeman has worked with. I think if you look at the staff as a whole, outside of Chancey Stuckey, who's somewhat of an unknown, has only really coached for 1 year, this is a very experienced, proven staff. You have guys that have been head coaches, whether it be interim head coaches like Jared Parker, whether it's be longtime veteran assistants like Harry Heastan, and to a lesser degree, just because he's not quite as old, Dylan McCullough, Al Golden, and then of course people that he knows and trusts like Al Washington and people like that. So I think this staff was put together in really impressive fashion. And one of the coaches I had the biggest question marks about, Chancey Stuckey, so far has been one of the most productive when you look at the job he did with the receivers in the spring, plus the job he's doing on the recruiting trail. So far the results have been excellent from a recruiting standpoint. Now it comes down to the team standpoint, which is what your question is more geared towards. And I think the manner in which the staff was put together was intentional. It's a combination of experience and also the youthful energy. It's a combination of people he doesn't know, but has a high reputation for based on what others have said about them. That would be obviously Harry Heastan. He doesn't know Harry Heastan, never coached with or against Harry Heastan. He doesn't know Al Golden from that standpoint, never coached against Al Golden, but the reputations obviously speak for themselves. So I really like the manner in which Coach Freeman put this staff together. It's a really talented group, and it's a group that I think should rightfully give this team and this program a lot of confidence going into the season. And that's where a lot of my confidence comes from. I mean, there's a lot of questions about, what Marcus Freeman is going to be from a, standpoint of, does he have the experience to, to lead this team? Well, how will the first year coaching issues kind of happen, handle that? Will those cause the team to lose games? There's like other kind of things, which we don't know. I can't answer that definitively because I've never seen him coach a game really with the staff that he wants. But a big part of my confidence is not only just trust in what Coach Freeman's done so far as a coordinator and how that translates, some of the things he's done already as the head coach, but it's also a lot about the confidence in the staff he's hired, which is one of the most important things the head coach can do. And is one of my biggest criticisms of the previous coach, was just not putting together the kind of staffs that you need to really compete at the highest level. And so far, from what we can tell and what coaches have done in the past, Marcus Freeman has certainly done that.